Hello, welcome to JadeKind Gaming. My name is Adam, here with another unboxing of a flip mat, this one being a Starfinder flip mat, of course by Paizo. The Solar Temple. Seems like a bit of an interesting one. Removing the plastic. And on the back, of course, it points out, folds down to this lovely book size, but 24 by 30 once folded out, 1-inch squares on both sides. And this double-sided map features an ancient Solarian hermitage on one side and a futuristic cloister in space on the other. So, descriptions for the two sides. Begin on this one, and of course, probably easier if we begin up here, just to give you a more grand sense of what we're looking at. I can't really see it when I do this, because it's facing away from me towards you, but this gives you an overall sight, because then we're going to come down here and look at it bit by bit. So, I think, from broadly looking at it, that this is our entrance door. So we enter here, and this is what looks like the actual walls. So this is a big open room here, and this is just sort of a barrier, but you could walk over. Yeah. So you enter here, and you walk into big central room with sun and planets. There's a couple almost Earth-like planets here. And, sort of lines and paths of stars and such. So, big central room that has, doors leading off of it. But let's sort of circle around this way. Door leading in here to what looks like a library. Like this map in particular, I mean, yeah, it's Starfinder, it's science fantasy, but it could be fantasy. This map, this side of it, could just be a normal, D&D or Pathfinder or whatever. Like, you could use it for that. Sort of a, a bit archaic, bit sort of magical and, in its view of space, but so we got books and scrolls in here. That all works with fantasy. And then either entering here or from the main room, we have a room with a bunch of beds. Big sort of shared living area. Not very nicely lined up. Very much chaotic, and just sort of some of the beds in the middle of the room. I'm not sure what that says about whoever stays here, but... And then continuing on, can enter, like, each of these rooms, like, enter through a circle. Like, because you can then continue from this one into this room or from the main chamber. But we have a big... Is it room to eat? But I guess here is where they would cook it on this fire as well, because otherwise there is no evident place where any food would be prepared. So I suppose it has to be here. So kitchen and dining room, but big dining room. Very big chairs. I get it, they're chairs scaled to a mini. That rounding on the back is the size of a mini base. But considering that this is a 5-foot space, it just looks like too big of a chair. Also, huge space between the chairs. I don't know, just thoughts. Yeah. But yeah, continuing on through here, or entering here, we have this room that seems to have a bunch of rugs with sort of sun patterns on them. I'm not really sure. But it's like maybe there bowls of like incense or something and candles burning. Sort of meditation room, I'm gonna guess. And then entering here, or from the main chamber out here, is it's an area with sand. It's a big sand that you can see the footsteps in it. You can see the sticks all around for drawing in the sand. But yeah, that's so yeah, very much a meditative kind of space. And then we'll look at the other side here before throwing it down. This one a bit more distinctly is going to be science fantasy or science fiction even. Just has a little more of that feel. Whereas side one, yeah, that could be fantasy. This one, a little more technological. Let me begin by circling around and trying to once again find the entrance. Bottom center. Enters this sort of very, you see this one now very space-like, very sterile kind of room. That can enter going further back. Which seems to go to some sort of, I mean, they're beds, I guess. No? You lying there? They kind of have that look, but I don't know, meditation chamber maybe all around this technological thing, and then a door that leads back towards this room that we'll get to later on. Continuing on this side, we're going to circle around. We have a hallway. Hallway. And then a little area, the door that leads out to this little bitty courtyard. And then we carry on through these doors into, again, giant chair room. When they make the chairs really fill up the squares, it looks silly to me. Or maybe these are couches. Because two people could sit side by side in a couch that's 5 foot across. Yeah, that works. But yeah, a room that kind of carries off here and, goes out to this other courtyard. But this room sort of a dining or meeting room with little tablets on the table and like coffee cups. Another little door airlock system kind of thing. And this area leads to little private rooms. I like this. This is nice. So as opposed to the living space in the other one that was so chaotic, this one, each person has their own little 10 by 10 square with a little desk and a chair and a bed and a wardrobe, and it's all kind of the same, other than like this person has an actual book. Most of them have tablets. This one has both. They all have windows, either leading into the courtyard or outside, but to get some natural light in. Like, this is great. This is the kind of, I love this. Kind of just sort of regular, laid out living quarters. I love that for like a group, for like a team in like a D&D kind of game. Again, hallway here, another door leading out to the same courtyard that we got to before. Carrying on, there is stairs that go into this, or a door that goes into this sort of stairway on both sides of this room, but we have no idea what these go to. But there are doors that lead to stairs. The other side of the map obviously isn't where those go. But yeah, so this big room enters from here, or many of these hallways, and it's a big, you still got this spacey pattern here, and you got one of these same kind of looking planetary structures, only this time it's all holographic, and we have different moon phases here, and a little stairway leads to a platform with a telescope. So that is fancy. Again, on this side, these hallways, just as on the other side, all lead into little courtyards, so they're all the same. We do have rooms that are different over here. These chairs don't feel quite these are better scaled chairs. They don't fill the space. But this is a computer lab. There are some paper books along the wall and even a couple scrolls. It is, Starfinder is science fantasy. But otherwise we have, keyboards and screens. Like, we got computer lab. And then continuing in here, it's a training room. We have staffs and like mats for padding, where the staffs are stored, and then like armored suits for like combative training. And then whatever these little digital things that are all scattered on the floor, I don't know. But yeah, it's the training room, and then kind of entering back towards that main entrance area. So we just have a science-y and a fantasy version of solar temples, which I guess is the reference to this sort of solar diorama in the middle of either one. But yeah, sort of space-based temples. The sunshine is divine. It says it right here. Which just seemed like some unique things. You know, especially like with the sci-fi one, I don't really have much in the way of sci-fi terrain to lay out, so if I need something like that. But even the fantasy one has a little bit of that sort of sci-fi bent to it. It would not... I could lay out like some of the rooms for that, but not all of them with my terrain. Yeah, so it just seemed like a decent one to pick up a flip map for. I will link down below where you can try and find it online. Like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Bye.